Thank you kindly for having me. Hot Squile, Jessie Williams, Queens. Now, good day. My name is Jessie Williams. I am a member of the Squamish Nation and of mixed European descent. I am here to continue the work of my elders who have taught me to be a connector. What that means to me in this moment with each of you here virtually is that I honor the opportunity to open this event. I respect and welcome each of you who come from many different backgrounds, walks of life, experiences, opinions, knowledge, and understandings. I invite you to step into your holistic intelligence, to connect your mind, your body, your emotions, and your spirit in this conversation. I invite each of you to center and lean on the teaching that guides you to do the meaningful work that you do, and whatever it was that inspired you to take time to register and be a part of this virtual circle, this conversation today. Family, friends, colleagues, guests, welcome to the unceded Coast Salish territories of the Squamish, Tsleil-Waututh, Coquitlam, and Musqueam nations. May this webinar, this knowledge sharing, this storytelling be heard with an open heart and an open mind. I was really excited about this conversation today. So to prepare for it, I did some outreach and reached out to some of my family and friends and colleagues, and I asked what the purpose of Canadian news, media, and journalism means to them. Many believe it is to provide diverse community with information, knowledge that supports them to make decisions about their communities, about their lives, about their societies. I also asked them if and why it was important to be represented in news media roles. Every single one of them said yes, and put simply, because our voice needs to be heard. I relate this to what my family has taught me about doing ceremony. All members of our family are to be involved and present in the work being conducted. The work is believed to be done properly when all family members contribute their knowledge, their skills, their wisdom, and share their voice. It is noticed when family are not present for the work. So in order to truly connect, elevate, and relate to Canadian media and news, Indigenous people must be represented within the family doing the work, not just as subjects of stories to be reported on. The family, in the context of news media, are the news stations, the media rooms, the journalists, the decision makers, and others doing media-focused work. The work are the newspaper articles, news station broadcasts, and other information mediums that are presented to society. There is a clear lack of diversity in Indigenous representation in mainstream media. The local voice must be accurately present in local programming, affairs, and news. And the lack of diversity can result in misrepresentation sometimes due to the lack of context. In order for this to be done, we must be honest and do a deep dive into media representation and consider how the current colonial structure of this industry affects the broader community. We must recognize the vital role news media has. Canadian news media have niswahochiam, storyteller responsibility. They decide what story to pursue, what story to share. They shape the story and who's been included in that conversation and what quotes to use. And they also decide how this will be presented to society. We need to address systemic barriers and ask how can we invite others into the storytelling process so they can tell their own stories. Again, we need to take a deep dive, a deep look into media and representation. Indigenous people have the context and capacity to tell our own stories, to talk about ourselves. For generations, our people have been sharing what we don't want, that we can do this work on our own behalf. News media, from my understanding, generally states that the goal is to report the truth. And mainstream media coverage is currently shaped by colonialism, thus shaped by colonialist ways of thinking, being, and understanding. So I ask, whose truth is being told if those being reported about are not included in the work? Indigenous perspectives, diverse perspectives, and representation in media must be included. As my elders, my knowledge sharers, and many in the industry have been working so hard towards for generations, I'm calling on the industry to reach out to local First Nations communities and organizations where you conduct your work have conversations about what and how they wish journalism and media to engage them, build relationships, support their work. There is an immediate need to create space for increased inclusion opportunity at all levels of positions, including management, hiring, editorial control, and importantly, retention. Doing so means more than meeting diversity quotas. It is a powerful statement of continuous Indigenous presence, respect, and acknowledgement of the diversity of the society we live in. This will enhance relationships with Indigenous people and the broader community with which Canadian news and media serves. Diversity in all levels of media that is representative of the community with which it serves is a bare minimum standard. The importance of this moment is part of a community-wide call to action for the media to do better. The Truth and Reconciliation Commission report identified media as key players in supporting reconciliation. Also, the 1996 Royal Commission on Aboriginal Peoples speaks to the lack of Indigenous peoples in media. Let us move into reconciliation. Let us increase both the quality and quantity of diverse voices, Indigenous voices, knowledge, stories, and lived experience in Canadian media. For those calling for change who already work in the industry, continuing to stand in solidarity, I send you strength to continue on. We need you. For those calling for change, society at large demanding more diversity, I send you a gust of energy to continue using your voice. Thank you. Puchka.